3 days later, David and his men arrive at their hometown, Ziklag. Holy mackerel, you know the story of Ziklag. The Amalekites had just been there and burned everything and stolen all the families, all the men that were left, all the wives, all the children. So now what's happened? Because I forgot to mention this. David still had these men. These are the men that have been with him in the caves. These are the men that had broken through the ranks to get the water that he wanted. I mean, these are really loyal, close guys, right? So he gets to Ziklag, and the scripture says they were so devastated when they saw that their families had been taken, everything destroyed, all the beasts, that they cried until they couldn't cry anymore. And then the men turned on David. So now it is everybody. And not only did they turn on David, but they started talking about killing him, about stoning him. This is the critical moment. When you're in your crisis and you don't see any way out, you don't feel like there's anybody at all that understands or anybody that could even help you, what do? And this is what David did. Verse 6 of 1 Samuel 30, David was in great danger because all his men were very bitter about losing their sons and daughters, and they began to talk of stoning him. But David found strength in his God. Say that with me. David found strength in his God. David found strength in his God. He didn't choose to say, God, why? What is it that we do a lot of times when we're in the middle of the crisis? I shared with you, I used to just get in a fetal position and say why. I would cry and cry and cry. And we usually try to find somebody that feels pity for us and pats us on the back and go, boy, yeah, you are not being treated right. That's just wrong. And then you feel a little better, but the situation isn't any better. Was David full of faith at that moment? No. But David knew he needed to be full of faith. So the scripture said he strengthened himself. How did David strengthen himself? We find out in Psalm 77. But then I recall all you have done, O Lord. I remember your wonderful deeds of long ago. They are constantly in my thoughts. I cannot stop thinking about your mighty works. I remember the things that God did. I remember, God, when you helped me kill the lion. I remember when you helped me kill the bear. I remember when you saved me from Saul's spear and Saul and his men chasing me. You have always been with me, and I will speak of your deeds, and I will think of your deeds all the time. He was strengthening himself, and when you strengthen yourself and you fill your mind, your soul, your body with what God has done, faith arises.